Hi Leo, I hope you guys are doing great today. Welcome to your deep love read. So we're going to be doing for singles, for committed, as well as for complicated. I'm going to have timestamps in the description box below the video. So you guys are going to be able to pop around depending on what situation you're in. Sometimes when we're in a committed, it ends up being complicated. So you handle that however you think you need to handle it. I'm going to be doing 3 specialty reads. The first one I'm going to be doing for singles is going to be based on the Hermit energy. So the Hermit, the reason I'm doing that is because the Hermit does indicate going it alone for a bit. Now the Lover's energy, the Lover's card I'm going to be using for the committed. I'm going to be using the Death energy for those in a complicated relationship, only because the Death energy does indicate transformation, right? Something needing to go or be transformed, right? So starting off with the Hermit energy, it is a Virgo energy, and it's a lot about problem solving and about going it alone, and a lot of deep introspection and figuring things out, right? It's definitely like a figuring things out kind of energy. It is, the numerology link is to the moon, and it's so things that we're feeling underneath the surface, and this is about healing and self-exploration and going within, really a quest for personal truth and analysis. So and that's very important, right, when we're single. So it's good to get some information just to see like where we're at and what might be getting in our way, what we really want, and then we get other information as a result of that. So why don't we first pull all the cards? Okay, let's pull them and then we'll get right into it. We have the past, the impact of the past, emotions, ambition, what you want, what you're really looking for, what might be holding you back right now, what's going to help you move forward. Okay, what's holding you back is confusion. That makes sense. What it is that you hope for. Okay, and then we have an outcome, the King of Pentacles. Okay, so I do feel like some of you are thinking about possibly getting back with somebody from your past, but there is definitely this idea of just really wanting to heal from the past. I mean, more than anything with the Judgment energy, it really is about making this assessment and letting go of the past and making a decision about the past. But at the same time, Judgment energy can indicate somebody revisiting you from an old relationship or somebody from another part of your life that you end up getting involved with. But let me go back to, right, the past and what was going on right now. So we have this idea of Nine of Cups is about wish fulfillment. Right, so in past events, it's just you focusing on doing you and being you, and really wanting to be very, very successful, having your happiness and your wishes manifested in whatever that meant. All right. Now, some of you maybe in the recent past, maybe you had a friend, and the friend ended up crossing the threshold into being more than that. But you being in a space like in the past where you were ready for growth, you were ready for growth. You were doing a lot of work on yourself, a lot of work on yourself. Leos have been doing a lot of work on themselves, but I feel like, those of you who are single have been very focused on doing you, being you, and really trying to figure out what that Nine of Cups even means to you. Like, what does that mean? What does it mean to be, what it means to be happy, but what does that look like, right, in a 3D in your life? And what is the impact of this, though? We have the Moon energy, and this in the relationships, this does indicate confusion and disappointment, because you may have felt very let down from somebody in your past, and that lack of trust, because of that feeling let down, ended up leading to a decision about the relationship, and you guys aren't together anymore. And interestingly enough, the link in numerology is to the Hermit, right, with the Moon, interestingly enough. But, keeping in mind that the Moon does rule the emotions, it's everything that we feel underneath. It also rules Cancer, which is the 4th house of home, and it's also the house of the stories that we tell ourselves. So it is just something to keep in mind. Where in the state of a confusion, right, maybe where you were feeling confused, you want to be careful that, as a result of feeling this, like things weren't going the way you really wanted them to go in the past, you ended up creating potentially a false narrative. Now, please don't take this the wrong way, Leo. We all have Cancer somewhere. We all have a 4th house. We all do. It's part of the human condition. This is an energy that's like, all right, just make sure that the stories that you were telling yourself about your past, about past relationships, are based in 100% reality of the situations, and not in maybe you not wanting to look at the truth of something, you maybe not wanting to admit certain things to yourself because they're uncomfortable, or maybe not wanting to fully embrace the reality of something that was, right? That's definitely like that fourth house energy, and it's through that we feel this confusion, we feel this disillusion, we feel this and caught up in this narrative, but the narrative may not always be based completely in 100% of reality. And I know that's never easy to hear, but everyone does it from time to time. It's okay, but that's what the energy is telling me here right now. So as far as how do you feel right now, I mean, you are feeling very ready. We have the Knight of Cups energy, Aquarius and Pisces, very emotional time for you. You're ready to be open to real love. You're ready to not judge by appearance. You're just ready for that. This is an idealistic energy as well, where you can be presenting yourself as the ideal person, where it's like, no, I'm 100% always on board with everything, and again, going back to the moon energy, and please don't come after me for saying this, but you want to be careful that understand no one's perfect. No one. And so that's got to be like the starting point of understanding that we're all broken somewhere. We all have our failings, and to really embrace them, not to just say the words, oh yeah, I know not everyone's of course, nobody's perfect. No, but to like really embrace it and to really understand, because the Knight of Cups energy can from an emotional perspective, you are emotionally ready for love, right? You're ready to fall in love. You're ready for this deepening, but at the same time, you are very idealistic in not only what you present, but you may be also in what you end up drawing to yourself, okay? So this idea of if it's too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true kind of thing. So you want to be careful of that. You want to be careful of putting forth any sort of false persona at this time, where you might feel too unable or uncomfortable to drop the act like later on. You want to be super careful of this in this energy. It is not going to go well for you. And you also want to be very, very careful of drawing that attention to you. So if you meet somebody and you're like, oh my God, they're absolutely perfect. No, just wait a little bit. Wait a little bit. If anybody seems like that, if you're perfect and you're in the space of because wait until you have enough time and experience with the energy to make sure that there's somebody who actually walks their talk. You know what I'm saying? Just be careful of that. Okay. So we have, what do you really want? Like what is driving you? What is your ambition? We have the Seven of Cups energy, which is a very funny energy to get in, like what it is that you want. Is you want choices. You want choices. The Seven of Cups energy is very much there. The thing is, you want to be careful here, because it's very easy to get confused between like what's real, what's not real, where you become into the space where you're not sure what's fantasy and what's not. And, you want to just be careful of that. But you want to have choices. But there's almost an extreme. Like, I feel like you just want to go out and just like rule the world when it comes to like relationships, but not in a crazy way, in a way where it sounded very dramatic, but I didn't mean for it to. Where you might have been in a situation where maybe you were just like feeling very restricted, very isolated, and you're single now, right? Or you've been alone for a long time, and with COVID and the pandemic, you're just ready to like bust out. And you want choices, and you want to be able to have opportunity, right? You want to have a lot of opportunity in relationship, because you're there saying to yourself, like, I am such a good catch. And Leo, I love that you're feeling like that. If you're feeling like that and you resonate with that, embrace that. But understand that nobody's perfect, right? I'm not saying that to in any way rain on your parade, but that goes both ways. you are not perfect and no one else is really. So if you act perfect and somebody else is acting perfect, it's a time bomb waiting to go off. So just something that, you want to just remember. But what's holding you back is confusion, right? We have this idea of the hangman energy. So the hangman is Neptune. It's very smoke and mirrors energy, right? You want to be careful here, right? I mean, this is about, well, first of all, it's about needing to get a different perspective on a situation. And there's this idea of pressing the pause button and waiting. Numerology, this is connected to the Empress, which is beautiful because she's all about Venus, right? That's a very clear Venusian energy. But, some of you may be in this space where something is holding you back, like you might be in communication with somebody, but they have you in the friend zone. Right? And you're hanging out waiting for them to acknowledge you with the same intention that you have for them, or you're unable to commit, where you're the one who is unwilling to move somebody from a friend zone into another space. But you might ultimately decide that it's not worth the time and effort. And you might feel like in order for any situation to work out here means giving up something that really matters to you. So, you can end up, in that kind of space. But the hangman too is because it's ruled by Neptune, it's a very sort of like, there's a lack of clarity. There's a lack of clarity. But there is also this very easy, because Neptune rules the 12th house of self-undoing, right? And that has to do with, feeling like you've been martyred. Feeling like you're being martyred. Or you might have a lot of Pisces in your chart. I don't know, you might be dealing with a Pisces here, it could be. But there is this idea of confusion, right? And that's holding you back. That's kind of getting in your way, right? Maybe you want to move forward with somebody and they're not acknowledging you, or you're not feeling able to acknowledge somebody in a different way. And they're almost energetically blocking you from being able to move forward. But what's going to help you move forward is the death and rebirth energy, which is Scorpio. Modern ruler is Pluto here. So, really this is a time where there are big changes and transformations moving on. This is a time to rebirth yourself, right? It really is. Now, if you guys are single right now because you're on I don't know if you want to call it break, or if you want to call it where you rather recently broke up, it's good, right? The break is good. Even if you're not feeling it, it's good because things could breathe in this energy, but this also tells me like your living circumstances may change because you realize that where you're living no longer actually meets your needs in the way that you want for your life, and you may be in this space of realizing you want to move. A lot of you may be in this space of like, you want a new relationship, you want to move, you want new in every area of your life. You really do. And that's a lot of what Leo's going to be going through. What I think is interesting, though, is you guys do have the great conjunction that's going to be happening in your 7th house of partnership. So there's going to be so much change having to do with partnerships. Now, that could have to do with business partnerships or marriage partnerships, because 7th house is the house of marriage, right? So you have a lot of... and you have that square. Uranus is squaring all of this in your 10th house. So, which has to do with like your public reputation. So some of you might be in this space where you really want to be married. You want to be in something really good, but you're sort of two minds, where you want to be settled in something, but you also want to make sure you don't make any past mistakes. So you want a lot of options. You want opportunity. You don't want to be confused anymore. You want to heal from the past. You don't want to be martyred. You're like in your space, knowing what you bring to the table, but there's something that you need to like just release from the past, right? Understand, and it just needs to be like, you just need to move on from something, right? And that's definitely going to help you move forward. It's just understanding the toothpaste is out of the tube. The past is the past. Now I just have to just move forward, right? Just move forward. And what you hope for is judgment. So at the end of the day, right? What do we have? Judgment. Judgment is really about assessment and letting go of the past and making a decision about the past, and there being a very definitive spiritual awakening here. Now, for some of you, when it comes to relationships, some of you may be in a situation where you're revisiting an old relationship and you decide if it's worth trying again. And I feel like this came up 1 or 2 times, and people were in the comment like, crazy lady, you're crazy, da, da, da. And I'm just reading the cards. So beautiful thing about being human is we have choice, and no tarot reader and no astrologer and no one should ever tell you that they could account for human choice, because that's just not a very integrity-based way to go, way to practice. Let's just say that, right? We can never account for human choice. We can never also account for what else is going on in your chart. At least I can't, right? From my perspective as an astrologer, I pay a lot of attention to what goes on in people's charts, even when I read just their cards, because if that's really going to be the driving energy here. So back to that, I digress. Some of you are going to be presented with, hey, how you been, right, from the past. And you're going to be in this space where you're going to need to decide if it's worth trying again. Now, a lot of you may even have an old friend come back from another part of your life, and you might be seeing them in a different way. So there are different ways that this can definitely manifest. But what I do see here overall is there is this like letting go of the past is what you want. You want to be able to just step out of that past energy, and anything that's been going on in your past, you don't want it to be a thing for you anymore. And you want to be able to just make this very decisive decision. This is what I'm going to do, and it be spiritual awakening and all of that, and not go into this Knight of Cups energy like I have so much to offer, A, B, and C, because you're trying to make yourself feel better because somebody from the past made you feel bad. Do you know what I'm saying? It's because I don't feel like you're being like egotistical here. I feel like you're trying to just make yourself feel better in a situation. And it's not that it's a stretch. You do see your own value. But a lot of times when we're in situations that are so painful in the past, and I don't care how long ago it was, it could have been 10 years ago, that can cause a scar and a shift in our sense of self-concept. It can happen to anyone, right? Because we happen to be humans and we're not robots, right? This is how it works out. So now I see for the outcome, we have the King of Pentacle energy. King of Pentacle energy really is about making the most of who you are, what you bring to the table right now. That's it. King of Pentacles, generous, hardworking. This should be you, and this is what you want to pull to yourself. You want to be somebody who would prefer being in a settled relationship, and somebody who you really feel it for, though. Because I feel like right now, how do I say this? This is kind of layered, what I'm getting here. I almost feel like right now, you're single, you're happy you're single. You're happy you're out of an energy, but you still miss that energy. You're sad that it didn't work out, but you understand the way the circumstances progressed. It's for the best. So it's not like you're not playing any games with yourself there. Okay, fine. So you're definitely feeling this disappointment, right? We have the moon energy, right? You definitely want to have this committed love. You want that. But at the same time, you want choices right now, because you want to make sure that you don't jump into anything too quickly. And you want to make sure that you're choosing much more carefully this time around. But you're very confused because you're still trying to release yourself from the past, from this energy that you know you really should not be with. However, you still feel energetically connected to them, but you know you need to let go of it in order to really be able to move forward. And you recognize again how much you bring to the table. So all you really want to do is heal the past, just so that you can move into an energy that actually gets it and understands it and wants to be in a real settled relationship and likes to be a protector. But I also do get, Leo, like, you have very little patience for anyone who's looking to take what's yours. So like, whether that is your freedom, whether that, and that's a very loose term. We could be in a very serious, beautiful, connected marriage and still have a sense of freedom, you know, where we have an interdependence, but we're still autonomously our own sense of selves with our own wants and needs, you know, and sometimes it's a fine balance, right? Depending on the energy that you are involved in. So for some of you, it's going to be that. For others of you, it's going to be your money. And you're just going to be like, I want to be in a relationship, but I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who's after my money, who's after my fill in the blank, my property, who's after me for the wrong reasons, who's wants to be with me because of who my connections are, or whatever the case, right? Whatever is going to be the deal for you. You guys are Leos after all, so I know many of you watching me, I know a lot of you are in the entertainment industry. So as with like maybe who your connections are, whatever. So like that is what I'm seeing, you know, right now. So let's throw some astro dice, pull an astro card. Ninth house, cool. Personal philosophy, your belief system. We have the South Node, what needs to be released. And we have Capricorn. Yeah, you know, so something that you believe to be what you had to have in relationship in the past is definitely changing. There's a release here in your belief system. There's a changing, there's an updating, which is really nice. And then we have Capricorn. A lot of you guys are just going to be super focused on your work and not even worried about relationship for a minute, which is totally fine, especially this month. You know, maybe you could pick that back up again in the middle of March when things are going to be a little different. But Capricorn also is the landlord of the 10th house of putting the work in. Putting the work in. It's also fame, though, for those of you who are in the entertainment industry. Just saying. So, Mars, action. Beautiful. Mars rules Aries, fresh path, new perspective, fresh mindset, desire. Lots of desire. Lots of courage here. A very potent energy. This is really about... it's almost like a leadership energy, but I'm not going to lie. Mars ruling Aries, and Aries being the baby of the zodiac, there's a level of like, I want it now because I want it now, and I want it the way I want it, the way I want it. There's an element of impatience about this. I get very little patient energy. It's like you're almost saying like, all right, can I say I want something and then like go through all of that and just like be where I want to be already? You know, it's kind of like a challenging energy to be patient, especially when you have a powerful position in a water sign, you know, in a fire sign rather. I don't know what your where your Leo is. If it's your sun, if it's your that's your ego consciousness, and then if it's your rising sign, it's your personality and the way you meet the world, and if it's your moon, it's your emotions. If it's your Venus, Venus has to do with money as well as love, relationship, and how you feel about yourself. Actions speak loudly. Express your love through actions. Take a chance on love. And be authentic. Be real. Yeah. I mean, that kind of speaks to this, right? Make sure you're being real. Yeah. You know, again, as I've been saying, like, it's just because of the energies and the great conjunction and the way Saturn is sitting, everybody's houses, he's sitting there with this little checklist. And, you know, so we want to make sure we're really authentic. We're really honest. We're doing our homework. We're showing up 100% honest. You know, be really authentic and take a chance and act it out, right? Actions do absolutely speak louder than words, for sure. We know that. All right, so let's move on. That is what I have for you, my single friends. Well, let's go on to our committed. So our committed friends who are Leos, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. So the reason I picked the Lover's energy for the Lovers, for the committed read is not because it's like Lovers, done, I'm kidding, right? It's not that. Because the Lover's energy in tarot does indicate decision. A decision in love needs to be made. So chances are, if you're here watching a tarot, a tarot video, right, even when you're in a relationship, it probably means that you're in a situation where maybe you and your partner are in a position where you need to make a decision, and maybe you're just looking for some information to kick off some ideas in your head, right? So this could have to do with anything going on between the two of you. It could have to do with some sort of project that you guys are taking on, you know, anything really, any part of life, but it would indicate that some sort of decision needs to be worked with and through. Lover's energy is Gemini, and it's all about making sure that you guys are on the same page, right? And then you get the blessing of Archangel Raphael will come in and help you out, but you have to be on the same page. So it really is about that, like whatever's going on here, what decision in love has to be made is what we're going to be asking for this first card, and you guys being on the same page. So we have the Sun. Okay, it's a decision in love. What do you guys really want? Not a small question at all now, Leo, is it? This is like, first, this is about growing a beautiful connection. And okay, on the basic mundane, you guys might be like literally deciding where to go on vacation. Like literally, okay? And it could be as basic as that. Not very exciting, but very exciting, right? The sun is amazing because the sun, in numerology, it's linked to the Wheel of Fortune, which is very destiny-driven. The wheel is ruled by Jupiter, so it's all good stuff, right? It's success, it's good health, especially if there's been any illness going on here. Everything that you need, like all the tools that you need in your toolbox to create whatever it is that you want is going to be there, as long as it's good for you, though. That's the little caveat. It's not so much about like what you want, Leo, or even what they want, but like, are you guys good together, right? So with the sun here, there needs to be this decision though about where, like literally where you're going and what it is that you like. Where are you going to live? How are you going to deal with your relationship? How are you guys going to stay connected? What is the right thing? Marriage, not marriage, baby, no baby. What are we doing? But like, buy the business, don't buy the bit. Like, so all of that, being on the same page as far as where. So this is a pretty profound thing. It's kind of like, all right, where are we going? What are we doing? And are we feeling the same thing? Let's get the background. Oh, the background is the Ace of Coins. So the Ace of Coins here, this is all earth signs are here. This is very auspicious for every area of your life. This is about happiness and contentment, really getting what you desire coming to you quickly. You're shown how to achieve what it is that you want. This is definitely a foundation of stability. Really good luck energy. You want to be careful of people like, in the past maybe were actually even a little jealous of this connection that you guys had. But there is this idea of brand new something. So this could be brand new connection, brand new job, brand new business, brand new something, right? Because Pentacles is mental, physical, emotional connection. There was a brand new something going on. So I actually feel like for some of you, it's like you guys were like, you guys are this new connection. Maybe you guys even met at work, and you're in this space of feeling like you guys want the same thing, but really needing to sit down to talk about it. Let's see what the choices have for us. So we have the Magician, cool. And we have the Page of Cups, okay. Best action to take. We have the Two of Coins, okay. And then with the outcome, we have the Four of Wands, which is awesome. Okay. Ooh, this looks good. I shouldn't jinx myself, right? This does look good. So, okay. So you guys are having some really important conversations. Like, this is no joke. Like, serious new page-turning situation in your relationship, and you guys having this big conversation. So the Magician we love because this is about focused creativity, really being able to bring whatever's in your mind's eye, having to do with this connection to fruition, right? But how does that happen, right? We always say the Magician is the alchemical card. What the hell does that even mean? Like, what is he alchemizing, right? Well, it's Mercury, so Gemini and Virgo. So it's this idea that there has to be communication and learning in a way to problem solve in order for you to be able to create whatever it is. So guys, communication is the number one thing that you guys have to do. So this is really about taking whatever you're doing here and whatever it is that you are doing and just kind of going with that, okay? Going with that and making that happen. Then we have the Page of Cups energy. So the Page of Cups, this is the personification of Earth, the Page of Cups. And this is really about being super hardworking, very reliable. There's an element of patience as well. This is also, also another very auspicious energy, right? Very sort of mental, physical, emotional connection kind of energy. Really, this can indicate a new partner, though, I do have to say. You want to make sure that you're not getting too swept up in something, for some of you. For others of you, this is an absolute new cycle in your relationship, having to do with, this could be anything from love, family, both. but this beautiful energy is sort of like right on the near horizon. But again, you don't want to get swept up in the dream of something to the point where you're not being super realistic about what it is that's going to be going on. Because this is good news about an emotional aspect. And the reason I'm speaking about it in a more general term is because you guys as a couple, you guys could be anywhere from married for many years to maybe you're just in a serious relationship now of the past couple of months. So everybody's in a different stage, right? That's what I'm going to say. It's good news about an emotional aspect of your life. So this could be anything from a deepening of this commitment in this next stage to maybe some of you find out that you're expecting, or some of you are deciding to get married, or some of you are deciding to retire together. You know what I mean? So it really could be anything like that. But the Magician is staying very sort of like, bringing something in your mind's eye into reality, but it's what you're doing right now. Whereas the Page does indicate something new. It's like a new approach, a new cycle. Again, Page indicates new cycle. So the Magician would be kind of just continuing on the trajectory of what you guys are doing right now, or are you going to actually start a whole new cycle? What are you going to do? But there has to be, I feel like there's like an energy missing here. Can I just pull? The Two of Swords, of course. The Two of Swords, yeah. There's the Moon in Libra. It's time to think because you're in an emotional stalemate. You need to make a decision, right? You like on the one hand, you want to protect yourself, right? But the thing is, the situation's not going away the way it is. Like this is, those of you who know astrology, this is kind of like an inconjuncta, otherwise known as a quincunx, where it's like, it's not going to go away. You have to do something about it. It's not going to resolve itself. So you have to stand your ground and say what you need to say, right? But a decision has to be made here. A decision has to be made. Because again, this is about, and the Magician energy, again, because it's a Gemini energy mixed with a Virgo, it's, this communication towards problem solving of like what's going on right now, or you're just going to absolutely decide to go on a new path. I opened up a rabbit hole here with this one. Because we have the Two of Cups, Judgment, and the Ten of Swords. So very, very interesting. Don't worry, the outcome is really, really good. The outcome is the Four of Wands, but we have the Two of Cups here. So look, I mean, the Two of Cups energy, it's beautiful. It's Venus in Cancer. It's mutually supportive relationship. It's new. It's definitely like a new phase of passion and a very positive proposal coming in. If things have been difficult, this does indicate harmony returning, very like to and being able to mature a relationship. And then we have the Judgment energy. So the Judgment energy is about assessment and letting go of the past and making the decision about the past in order to have the spiritual awakening. And your relationship is going to be assessed and it's going to shift into a new phase. And there might need to be some sort of reconciling. Maybe that just happened in the recent past so that you guys have to still work out if you deem your connection worthwhile. I mean, really, but this is the need to make a decision. So you just want to be careful that you don't, get stuck in the past. Now, for some people, this is this need to forgive, and to just recognize that, I want to say this. Upon reflection, you and or your partner might be realizing that maybe you guys did not show up as your best selves in the past. And the Judgment energy is forgiving yourself for that. You did the best you knew how with the tools in your toolbox. You did the best you knew how at that time. We like to think that, right? That and whatever your motivations were, whatever their motivations were, it doesn't matter. Everybody did the best they knew how at the time. But there is this realization here. Then we have the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is it's an ending. Right? Like there's a history here. And the finality and the release of something releases you from frustration and stress, even if it's painful. And this is the end of a challenging era so that you can transform into something a lot healthier with fresh eyes and a new mindset. So I do see there having been some issue here. So back to the choices. Are you going to deal with more of that from the past? Or are you going to make the decision to really have a new cycle? Not make believe, not in words, not, but like seriously. And we have the Four of Wands as the outcome. I mean, this is just lovely. I love the Four of Wands. This is Venus in Aries. This is just opening your hearts up to each other and expressing your love and affection. This is the honeymoon card. This is very auspicious for anything like creative and things that you want to do together. So anything from having a baby to building a house to buying a house, a business, just creating a life together. Strong foundation, strong foundation. So, I need to roll that again because the cards got in the way. Okay, yep. They came in again. So somebody's ego, for good or bad, is getting in the way here. You got to look at that. And we have Aquarius. Aquarius is the landlord of the 11th house of goals. And then we have the 12th house, the house of the hidden, the subconscious. It's also the house of self-undoing. So make sure that in the process of doing anything here, that you're not shooting yourself in the foot. You don't want to do any sort of self-sabotaging behaviors. 12th house also has to do with it's where our addictions hang out, but it's also where our dreams hang out. So dreams for the future. Just make sure you stay within the realm of reality with that. Mercury, communication. Yeah, I mean, this is just coming up all over the place. Mercury is just, communication is just really, really very important for you guys. It's not only communicating, it's communicating with awareness. It's communicating with a definitive vision of, getting somewhere, not just talking to talk, right? Mercury is also about learning, right? So there's a lot there. Being able to have a very clear analysis within reality of what's going on and how something is playing out. So I really like that. I think that's very positive for you guys. Okay, getting to the heart of the matter. I love that. There's more going on here than meets the eye. That's, definitely what I get. I definitely get that. Express love through gifts. A small token of love can convey great appreciations. And this could just be as simple as like leaving a little love note in somebody's sock drawer or something silly like that, or a little message, with lipstick on a mirror. Something cute like that. Doesn't have to be a whole lot to mean a whole lot. Okay. And then we have be willing to express love. Yeah, express love in order to receive love. Yeah. Yeah, so it's definitely like a lot of communication, leaving the past in the past, resolving to start this new chapter, focusing on this new creation of whatever the heck it is for you guys, whatever that means for you. But it really looks nice from where I'm sitting. Very nice. I don't feel the need to pull any more cards, so that is what I have for you, Leo friends. And now we're going to go on to our complicated Leos. Complicated. So complicated is, together, not together, it doesn't really matter. Maybe you're together and it's just like you guys really aren't communicating very well. Or you're actually not together right now, but you're still definitely in each other's energy, that kind of thing. And that's why I use the death card when I do readings like this, because that, the death is about that when it comes to relationship, right? I mean, it's the relationship could have ended like temporarily, where there's this time of separation that's very necessary if the relationship is to ever like find its footing again on a future date. The way it has been up to this point needs to end because it wasn't healthy, right? So it has to be some sort of, what needs to be released and what needs to be transformed, right? So it's this idea of that. So why don't we pull some cards to see any past issue that needs to be released, the outcome, and then we'll pull energies on that. Five of Wands. Stop fighting. Stop. The outcome is the Two of Wands. Okay. So the Five of Wands is battle of the wells, really is. It's clash of desires and reality. And that could always be really trippy in a relationship, right? Where you both together, you want certain things, or it could be even individual, maybe what you each desire and what the relationship is in reality is clashing. And there's a tension and ongoing conflict because of that. Or it can be that you both actually really want the same things, but you can't bring that into fruition in reality. It's going to be, depending on your situation. But it's always just really, and it can be just very, very frustrating. Very frustrating, right? This battle of the wills, right? Strong opinions, fighting to be heard, just pay very close attention if in this energy you guys are in any kind of position where together as a complicated couple there needs to be papers signed. If you can avoid signing them until the end of February, beginning of March, that would be way better. I just want to throw that in there. But it's definitely this no, this is how I see it kind of thing. You know what I mean? Five is the number of mankind. It's the number of conflicts, Jupiter and Leo. So whenever it's Saturn and Leo rather. So whenever Saturn is in a sign, it brings up its shadow manifestations. So you want to just be careful there, right? Lots of strong opinions. Everybody wanting to be heard. Yeah, but then we have the Two of Wands as the outcome energy. So the Two of Wands, this is Mars and Aries, and this is, really, for some of you, this could be a new romantic partnership coming into the scene. But this is definitely about making plans and moving forward. Or some of you might be waiting to hear back on something. You might be waiting to hear from somebody. So for some of you, and you're going to know how it resonates with you, if you're not in any communication, you're in this what you feel like this never-ending space of waiting for somebody to actually call you, right, in order for you to make a final decision to move on or not. So it looks like for some of you there was an argument. You're in the space of all right, what do I do? And the Two of Wands really is, it's a good energy because it is this idea of making plans and moving forward. It is an energy of partnership, of of definitely trying to figure out a strategy to be able to move forward in something. But there are two wands here. So the two wands here, it's all right, which path do I take though? You feeling yourself making plans and moving forward, you feeling yourself wanting to be in partnership, right? But this one is particularly complicated. So you're trying to decide, do I still stick it out with this one as I wait to hear from them? And do I then, out of the other side of myself, start looking towards moving forward and maybe start opening myself up to new people? So I feel like there's this space right now where you're just a little confused about how you're actually moving into your future. But you're very, I want to be there already, right? Because the Two of Wands is a Mars and Aries energy. We have, and Mars rules Aries. It's very fiery. It's very fiery and wanting to take control. Just kind of wanting to know. It's very frustrating, right? Okay. So that is working with the Five of Wands. Okay. Okay, and then we have the Two of Wands. So we have after the Five of Wands, we do have a Ten of Wands that came out of that card of overwhelm. Just want to say, Ten of Wands been coming up a lot, and that typically indicates people who really don't want to fully hear the message. I'm not saying that's you. I'm not just saying that depending, it's not going to resonate with everyone, but Ten of Wands can indicate that. Because this is just, you've just had enough kind of thing. And you just feel like you don't want to deal with any negativity. You don't want to, it's the dumbest little feather on top of it all is just enough to just send you over, right? I mean, really, because this really is about overwhelm, responsibilities, burden, overload, feeling very emotionally tapped out, right? Really emotionally tapped out. Now, for a lot of you, there could have been a situation going on in your relationship where the relationship was neglected because of other things going on in life. And you just really honestly felt like you weren't paying attention to the relationship, or they weren't paying attention because your attention or their attention was needed in other areas. And you may not really be very receptive to this reading, okay? Please don't get mad at me for saying that, but that is what this energy is telling me. Now we have the Queen of Cups. So there is this need to put the wands down. So you were going on a certain trajectory in this relationship, and you realize in Battle of the Wills, oh my God, we're not on the same page. We actually maybe don't want the same thing. What the hell is the point? Right? And then we have this working with the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups is Gemini and Cancer energy in astrology. And so this really is having a very high emotional intelligence, not afraid of intimacy, not afraid of having the communication, Gemini, to discuss what you need to feel grounded, rooted, safe, and secure. Cancer, right? So that's where the Gemini and Cancer comes in. You guys might literally be having conversations about some sort of property or house. It could certainly be that. But this is really about deepening of love and emotional honesty about that's needed in order to actually make something work. So there's got to be this openness. There's got to be this mutual, though, openness from both of you. So I feel like there was argument, and there was like, I can't do this anymore. It's like, you got to be honest, because if you're not going to be honest and you're not going to be open about, how we can move forward in a really healthy way, you just being in the space of not being sure. Now we do have the Page of Cups coming up here. The Page of Cups, definitely good news again about this emotional aspect of your life. Everybody's in a different space of of life, but this can indicate a new potential partner is on the near horizon for you. That then some of you are going to be resonating with that, depending on where you are at in this complicated situation. Others of you, the page could mean an indicator that there's a new cycle, right? But you don't want to get too swept up in the idea of anything too soon. In other words, this could be indicated like where you guys are in this very complicated situation and you like kind of ended it, but not ended it, but ended it, right? Where it's like, I just can't do that anymore. And then you really wanting to have this beautiful conversation, you could certainly be feeling more hopeful, but hold that thought because you really do. And I'm not saying this to be negative, I'm being realistic. You want to make sure that whatever is promised in the Queen of Cups energy, you have some time to see that whatever communication happened in that energy has time to walk its talk. You know what I mean? So we have, working with the Death card, we have the Queen of Swords, all about truth. You're not going to want to hear anything but the truth. That's it. And you're going to feel very, very motivated right now to find the truth and the psychological motivation of your partner, right? And just... and you're just very strong. This is a very determined and strong energy. This is an energy where it's like, look, I'm going to do what I have to do. If I have to raise the kids alone, I'll raise them alone. But I know I don't want to stay in this. You're either going to be in this with me or not. Because I do feel like there are a cycle here. It's like argument and then conversation. But then like, I don't know. Is there a lot of follow through? And you just being like very in your... very in your integrity, right? Really, very much so. We have the Page of Wands. Again, we have a lot of the page energy here is definitely telling me, this is a personification of fire energy. So, this is, as just a general influence, this is like good news coming in, that there's going to be some sort of positive negotiation that could go on here, compromise, right? It's going to be a very busy energy for the two of you. There's going to be a lot of compromise here. But the compromise may not be as great as you would like it to be in your mind's eye. In other words, like if you guys are going through something and you're saying, if only they could fill in the blank, and you guys have this conversation and you're like all in honesty and you're like, all right, we got to sit down and just totally like figure this out. How are we going to change what's been going on? And the offer that they make you kind of misses the mark, or what they could offer you kind of misses the mark in as far as what it is that you're looking for, right? And so you want to be very careful here. This could also indicate that you're dealing with an energy who gets bored pretty easily. Keeping it real. Page of Wands could be a little bit of a player energy, right? In a lot of cases, it can be. And this is an energy who can get bored, let's just say that, right? Bored pretty easily, okay? And it's like they just move on to whatever attracts them next, right? So you really want to make sure, this is another make sure they walk their talk. So you want to make sure there, because you might be in the space of realizing that somebody is just really not on the same page as you as far as a relationship, and this ends up causing a lot of anxiety for you. I mean, the Nine of Swords is that 3 a.m. card, anxiety, ruminating thoughts, intrusive thoughts. Mars and Gemini, is this right for me? I don't know, kind of thing, right? And then we have in the outcome energy, we have the Two of Wands. We talked about that already, right? Two of Wands, which way should I go? So we have the World, beautiful. Lesson learned. The World is the most positive card in the deck. First of all, it's Saturn, right? In astrology, it's Saturn. In numerology, it's the Empress. So two fabulous energies. And Saturn, yes, I say Saturn is fabulous because this indicates the completion of a Saturn lesson. And so that no body brings a bigger gift than Saturn after going through a Saturnian lesson. And he always drops a gift before he leaves, an energy, right? And they're the most long-lasting ones, right? So this is about happiness and feeling fulfilled, feeling loved. But you learned a lesson here. So there's this Two of Wands, and it's being clarified by the World. So that's definitely going to inform which path you end up taking. Let's see. It looks like this is the lesson. It looks like, Wand 1 is going to keep you where you are, right? Which would be the Ten of Swords energy here. And then Wand 2 is going to take you in the other direction. The Ten of Swords is a tricky card, right? It's not comfortable. It's about endings, and there's a history here, and the finality, and this release of something that, the frustration of something is behind you, and this is all about being able to have a fresh mindset and move forward in a much healthier way. Now, for some of you, you're realizing that whatever's been going on can't keep going on. That that's your lesson. Like the World is that whatever's been going on cannot keep playing out. It's not going to work for you. It's one sword at a time over time, stabbed in the back, the manipulation, the gossip, the negative, whatever it is, right? Because it's communication, it's truth. And we have the Ten of Swords. It's like, there's just almost like a betrayal there, one sword at a time over time. And you're realizing this right now. Like it's not, going to work for you. But now we have the Eight of Wands. So now this fresh mindset, it's almost like the veil is going to be lifted off your eyes here. The Eight of Wands is very, very positive. The Eight of Wands is a Mercury in Sagittarius. This is good news coming in, very busy communication. This is great if you've been feeling held back or stuck, waiting for either a decision to come into you, somebody to make a decision. This is a great energy for you growing, right? This is great news having to do with love, especially if you've been separated. So for those of you in separation, this can indicate that you guys are in separation. You guys had this argument, some truth came to light, caused you a lot of anxiety. You were very conflicted between should I stay the course, should I go in another direction? You learned your lesson and you're saying, you know what, I have to release whatever has been going on up to this point. And the Eight of Wands indicates news coming in where there's this sitting down. The Eight of Wands is a very strong foundation card. It really is like Four of Wands, right? And that Four of Wands is a very strong card. So good news coming in, frenetic kind of energy, quick changes, okay? So something ending. And it's like as soon as something ends, something positive comes. It's like there needs to be this release of something from the past. Four of Swords. Five of Cups. The Moon, yeah. So definitely, the Four of Swords is it's pressing the pause button for sure to figure out what even works for you in relationships. That's what it is. It's resting, it's retreating, it's pulling back for a bit, taking a time out, do some shadow work, wait time for like therapy, but figuring out a better strategy to move forward. And then we have the Five of Cups, which is about focusing on the pain of a situation. The Five of Cups is painful. It's loss. It's leaving. It's sadness, right? I mean, and this is, the thing is, so something ends before maybe you felt ready for it to end, right? You weren't ready for it to end, but it had to end as it was. You weren't ready for it. But, you're going to be able to deal with it. And this is going to be about assimilating old stress and sadness in order to make a new start. And then we have the moon though. And so the moon here is about confusion and disappointment, feeling like somebody let you down. And that lack of trust incites this decision in this relationship. Can I have energy for this Eight of Wands? Seven of Pentacles. King of Pentacles, Eight of Cups, Five of Pentacles. So Seven of Pentacles is all about being very patient, very hardworking, being very diligent to the cause, not giving up, putting in the hard work. The King of Pentacles is making the most out of what's here, making the most out of things, trying to focus on what really matters. We have the Three of Cups energy here. Three of Cups is very celebratory energy, very supportive, being very, very supportive by family, by friends. Great energy for a new relationship. Good energy for a new relationship. But then we have the Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Pentacles does indicate this feeling of it's challenge, right? It's feeling like your security is feeling compromised, right? You feel like there's been a test, you've been tested, having to do with this relationship, and you're really trying to consider new options that are going to help you see a way forward. But you're afraid of losing the security that the relationship did bring you, even if it wasn't the best thing for you. But this could also indicate just like basic pain of the aftermath of a breakup, right? But you do have more support than you actually realize. And then we have the Ten of Pentacles, which is beautiful. And keeping your eyes focused on this, right? The Ten of Pentacles is really about maturity and about sharing and about depending on each other and about commitment and shared values. And that's really what this is about. And Two of Cups. So I feel like you're meeting a new energy, Leo. I have to tell you, those of you in a complicated situation, Two of Cups is beautiful. It is that mutually supportive energy, right? Especially if things have been very difficult. Page of Swords. Lots of honesty coming out. Definitely some truth coming out. Blinders being lifted. And you relying on your intelligence having to do with the situation. So let me explain this, how this can happen, okay? For some of you not in communication, I'm just going to do a quick synopsis here. Some of you not in communication, you may be hearing from the person after resolving that something can no longer be the way it was. So like almost energetically it happens, okay? So then we have this idea of, okay, they called, they want to see me, they want to get back together, because this is like an energy of hearing from somebody from the past to reconcile, okay? So that can be you still having fire in your belly for them, you being very patient, you working with what you have, knowing that it's not exactly where you are just yet, you feeling like you're in the space of getting the support that you need, but yet there's something very sad about it. You still feel this lack of support. You feel this lack of support when it comes to deep connection, maturity of the relationship, the ability to mature the relationship, you just do, and then so there needs to be this other proposal made, based in truth about how it is that you guys can actually move forward. Now, I want to tell you, if that's your story, 100% in a cycle. I'm letting you know. Energetically, I'm just letting you know. It's the cards say. You're going to go round and round and round in the cycle, in the circle, in the cycle, in the circle. But I do see a lot of you saying, you know what? I so learned my lesson with that person. It is the end. I'm not going to allow that. And you energetically saying, I'm not allowing that in my life anymore. And you hearing from somebody that you haven't heard from in a while. Okay? And then from there, I'm not saying it's overnight, because you're going to be in the space where you're still needing to recover and you're feeling sad and you're feeling let down by the energy. But at the same time, you're still being very patient in the area of love, the King of Pentacles. You're appreciating what somebody has to offer. You're in the celebratory time period of a relationship, which is typically early on with the Three of Cups energy. We have the Five of Pentacles. You can be very, very feeling very insecure about your money. You could just be very worried in general. This is very psychological, right? You have more support than you actually realize. And then we have the Ten of Pentacles energy, and you just being really focused on creating a family, having a strong foundation, everything that I mentioned before. And the Two of Cups calls in that energy. Two of Cups is about this, right? This is just like a new passion, right? This new passion, this person that comes in is like, let's do this. And it's going to be based in truth and no nonsense. Soulmate. So you have some sort of soul contract with this person. Okay. Those are painful sometimes. So we have this idea of addiction is alive here. So codependent, obsession, possession, controlling, has a block, restraint, some can't get out of their own way kind of thing, And then we have Coffee Cup, meeting up and conversing, feeling uplifted, friendship. It's very much like a Three of Cups energy. Heartbroken, deeply hurt, sad, separation, breakup, feeling lost, grieving, mourning. Yeah. Get some information on that. What's going on there? I'm so insecure and I know it's a problem, but looking at myself is not easy for me. You are not good for me, yet I yearn for you constantly. I need to think about this. I miss the peace I used to feel with you before all of this. Yeah, I'm sorry if that's resonating with you. Get to know each other. Be in the present. Dream of the future, not the past. And take a chance on love. Yeah, it does. Look, I mean, I have to just tell you what I'm seeing is the overall energy here for this particular situation. If you're resonating with it, it does seem like you're resolving to end an unhealthy cycle, like you've learned your lesson, you're opening yourself up. It does seem like you're going to be meeting somebody new. Your energy is not going to be totally clean with this other person yet, and that's okay. Cut yourself a break. You're not a robot. You're an onion, right? I always say what's in layers, right? But it does seem like you do have this understanding that you guys are really like not great for each other, but yet you still have this attachment to each other, and that's very like that karmic soulmate kind of thing. But it does seem like there's a new energy coming in, and the advice here is stay in the present. Don't think about the past. Think about the present and the future. Get to know this person and take a chance on love. That's what I have for you, my friends. Very complicated. Yeah. Okay. That is what I have for you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.